It's car con carne. Let's eat in the car. It's car con carne. And now here's the star of our show, James Van Asta.
And it's Car Con Carne, sponsored tonight by C&H Financial Services. Business owners are finding their way in and around the coronavirus and how to move forward, and C&H Financial Services is here to help. They offer a variety of products ranging from traditional merchant accounts to a zero-cost payment processing solution, which eliminates the expense associated with accepting Visa, MasterCard, Discover, and American Express as a form of customer payment. C&H Financial Services eTab solutions, easy to set up for your business for online ordering and curbside pickup. C&H also offers cost-effective commercial lending programs, which can help get your business the money it needs to make it through these ridiculous times. To learn more, contact C&H Financial Services at 855-600-2437 or go to chfs.us. So 48 hours from right now, as I'm doing this show live on a Thursday night, Pegboy celebrates their 30th anniversary. It's a drive-in show at SeatGeek Stadium in Bridgeview. 30 years of Pegboy. Local H, Jake Burns of Stiff Little Fingers, and the Bollweevils are also performing that night. Doors are at 5. Tickets at chicagodrivein.com. My guest tonight, he is an actual doctor. He is an actual comedian, too. He's Dr. Bill Miller, headlining Zanies all weekend long, starting tomorrow, Friday night. Good evening, doctor.
Good evening. How you doing?
I've got a medical question first off. I got my flu shot yesterday morning.
Yeah.
I can't move my left arm.
Yeah. Did you get the shot in your right arm?
My left arm. This is my writing hand, so I did it on this side.
Because it makes a difference. I mean, if you got the shot in your left arm, you're having a stroke. But if you got the shot in your right arm,
that's right.
Then it's just a local reaction to the shot, and it's not to be concerning.
I swear to God, I get it every year. It seemed like they took extra time with this shot. It seemed like a double dose.
Yeah. Did they watch? They watch your show?
That's right.
You know, as a physician, you got to consider all the possibilities.
That's right.
Before you make the diagnosis.
So yesterday I recorded the show last night. All of a sudden, as I'm recording, that's when the flu shot side effects hit. Like, face became flush. It looked like I'd been out in the sun for 10 hours. I was totally like pink faced. I was like sweating. Yeah. I realized that this is a fair trade, that this just means that things won't be catastrophic a couple months from now if I get the flu, but I've just been wiped out. That's my medical chat.
That happens. Any more than that, I'm going to have to Google find you a good answer. Because I don't want to lead you astray.
So again, you're headlining Zanies this weekend.
Yeah.
I guess the question is, we're living in this messed up time. We're living under a pandemic. Is anything funny relative to frontline workers or anything you're around anymore?
I've never been better. I mean, what could be better? You got half the country fighting the other half the country. I mean, you got overwhelming disease and a pandemic. I feel like getting a striped shirt and just being the referee. I can make a couple of bucks that way. Because right now, no one's making anything.
Right.
Yeah.
So I've always assumed that doctors pretty much have to have a dark sense of humor as a coping mechanism, if nothing else.
Yeah, we do. Yeah. And you want some of those examples, I can tell.
Yeah.
But no, that's what you got to come see them at Zanies.
There we go. All weekend long. Let's be honest. The human body is an endless source of comedy. The word spleen makes me laugh. Body parts are just funny, in general.
Yeah. Spleen is funny.
Pancreas.
Uncus is funny. Pancreas, not so funny. Uncus is funny.
Well, what's that?
Part of the brain. The uncus. The medulla oblongata. I think that does not sound like what it is.
I agree with that.
Hey, baby, you want to see my medulla oblongata?
Exactly.
It's the brain stem.
Do they still do the Hippocratic Oath where they pledge allegiance to the ancient Roman gods, or do they update that?
Yes. Yeah. Well, I mean, I graduated a long time ago, so I don't know, but I believe they still do it, and I don't think they changed it.
So you're like pledging to Apollo and Hygeia and Panacea?
Yeah. And the main thing is, the big take-home thing on that is, above all else, do no harm. So a lot of us, if we don't know what we're doing, we just don't touch them. I mean, it's just simple. I'm not doing anything.
Yeah, I'm out. Good luck. Sorry.
Why are you not doing anything? Because I don't want to do any harm.
thinking of COVID in this world we live in now, I think it's worth mentioning. You are headlining Zanies. Zanies is paperless. They have sanitizing stations throughout the venue. Everyone's wearing a mask.
Yeah.
It's limited capacity. So I know Zanies has been really mindful about how to move forward and create a safe atmosphere to see comedy.
Yeah, they do. They have like 50 people in the venue that normally holds about 120, something like that, 140 if it's really crammed. And they social distance the chairs and tables so that the parties you go in, you're sitting with your party and there's enough room between your party and the next party. So, from the stage, what it looks like, and this is not a plug of Zanies. I love Zanies. I've been working Zanies for a long time. It looks like a 747 landed and they cut the wings off because there's like a row of twos on one side, a nice aisle, and then a row of threes on the other. And you think, you're waiting for the flight attendant to come by and like, excuse me.
Yeah, does playing to reduce capacities change your act at all or the way you approach a set?
I don't think it changes my approach. It's your expectations are a little different because when people are together and they're congregated, laughter is contagious. So if you hit this table, then all of a sudden the people next to them are, they catch it, and then the laugh spreads all around. When they're separated, you'll hear the laughs, but they come in as trickles and stuff, and not like a big rush. You know what I'm saying?
I do. And I guess the social distancing is especially important if people are laughing. They're like, they're expectorating or they're.
Yeah, they are. They are.
If the act is good.
If the act is good, a lot of, I think the ultimate compliment on a comedian is if you can time a joke to have someone spit when they're drinking, that's, comes through their nose. You've done something remarkable.
That is a glorious occasion. So you are a doctor. You're a legit doctor. You're a comedian. Your parents pushed you into medicine back in the day?
Yeah, a little bit. Yeah.
A lot of kids.
What else are they going to do?
A lot of kids, when they rebel, they listen to heavy metal or they run away from home. You became a comic.
Yeah,
that was your way of rebelling.
Total rebellion.
You could have had a heavy metal phase. You could have just gone deep into Iron Maiden.
Yeah, that's what I said is a phase. This is more concerning. This is like a chronic, long-term thing. If I got a heavy metal, a piercing, a safety pin through my cheek, something like that, they would have said, leave him alone. He'll outgrow it. This, they go, what are we going to do? We have no idea what he can do.
But jokes aside, I totally get the need to satiate left and right brain. I mean, I think I'm right braining it right now by doing this at night. You're satisfying two different parts of your psyche, really. You've got the clinical, the professional, and you've got the creative walking out on stage and telling jokes.
Can I ask you for a 5-second? I'm a doctor and my son is coming in and they changed the fog to the house. Hold on.
Okay. Yeah. It's all good.
Jamie.
It's Dr. Bill Miller.
Right back.
Headlining Zanies this weekend. This may be his way of getting out of the interview. I don't know if he's actually going to come back. Later on tonight, this is a twofer. We've got two podcasts happening tonight. We'll be talking to the people behind Fistful of Bourbon. It is a new bourbon with a spaghetti Western theme that's happening at 9:00 tonight, if you're watching. And tomorrow night, Pegboy will be joining me on Carcon Carney. Dr. Bill Miller came back. I thought there was a chance that this was your way to just exit. Like,
no,
I'm not digging this. I'm out.
I love
Got
this.
a phone call. Yeah.
No, this is great. I love this. I'll tell you, honestly, my son is driving in from Carbondale, and I live in a condo, and they changed the security, so his old fob doesn't work. So he was calling me and texting me, going, "I'm downstairs here by the front door. Can you buzz me in?" No, I can't buzz you in. I'm on a show. So
is he a student at Carbondale? Did you say?
Oh, he graduated over a year ago in the flight program, and they hired him to be a flight instructor.
Oh, that's amazing.
Yeah, it's pretty cool. It's pretty cool. Yeah.
So when you tell your colleagues at your practice or wherever you practice that you're doing comedy in a nightclub in the age of COVID, what's the reaction from your peers?
Well, a lot of them have known a long time that I do comedy. And first guys, the first reaction is, you don't seem funny here in the operating room. You don't seem funny in the emergency room. And I go, yeah, well, I'm not trying to be funny. I'm trying to wear the doctor hat, because the last thing you want is some guy in one profession trying to be a jokester in another, and people kind of get tired of it quick. So I kind of internally make note of stuff and crack myself up. So then I said, well, you got to come down and see the show. Then they do. then they're my biggest proponents. Yeah, you know he does stand-up comedy? You should go see his show. And then everyone goes, no, give me a sample. No, you sing me a song. What the hell's wrong with you?
Exactly right. Do you remember when you started out back in the day, how it felt walking out on stage?
Yes.
First few gigs?
I was really scared. I was nervous. There was a lot of butterflies, but I didn't turn back. I mean, I was going. I remember that, I came back from medical school on a Christmas vacation and went to the Comedy Store in LA. I grew up in LA. And on the amateur night, the open mic night, and I had 5 minutes. I wrote some jokes. I went up there and I started it and I got some laughs. And that was it. I bit the hook. That hook was in me. It wasn't coming out.
It's narcotic.
Yeah, it's beyond. I mean, if that's in your system, if you're supposed to do that, no one can dissuade you.
So how often are you writing down notes or observations that eventually find them?
I always have paper in my pocket, and I got now they got the iPhone with the voice recorder. You can always take a message. I'm off fairly often, a few times a week, depending on what's going on. Sometimes it's more, it ebbs and flows. If I get like a big rush, I'll write a lot of stuff down. Then you don't write anything for 3-4 days a week. Then you get another little rush, you write some more stuff.
All right. So Zanies this weekend, Friday, Saturday, and Sunday. Yes, all 3 days.
Correct. 2 shows Friday, 2 shows Saturday.
That's a lot of work. I don't think people appreciate how much work that is.
It's okay.
It's a busy weekend.
I'll struggle through it. I'll do the job.
What can we expect? A little bit of old and new in the act, or
yeah, I mean, there's a standard hunk, and everyone thinks, oh, you're going to do the same stuff. Well, you don't just write a 45-minute set that's going to get a certain response that you want overnight. The guy sees you on Friday. Hey, I want to come back tomorrow. You're going to do the same stuff? No, I'm going to have a whole new hour. Yeah, I'm going to do. They don't know. So what you try and do is you try and work in a couple of minutes, so the set always morphs. So you're kind of moving stuff through. Instead of doing 40, you're going to do 32 and then try the 8 minutes new interspersed, that kind of stuff. So
just thinking about what you said at the beginning, as a medical professional, seeing the world just split down the middle, just the acrimony on both sides, the people who are stalwart anti-masks and the mask people. It's just, as a medical professional, do you just, besides turning into comedy, do you want to scream when you see this stuff?
Well, I do, but you can't do it. I mean, to take care of someone, I go in to see him. He's in his bed on the gurney, and the curtains are around, and his mask is like this. And I'm talking to him, and I mean, if you're going to wear your mask like this, you better have a sign on your forehead that says, my nose is sterile and I don't breathe through it.
Right. They don't understand how respiration works. I see it all the time.
So I look at the guy and I said, hi, I'm Dr. Miller. I'll be taking care of you. And I said, can you move your mask over your nose? And the guy looked at me like I was the asshole. Excuse me. I mean, so he looks it up and then it's okay. And then people put the mask on here like they're a drool catcher. If you got a problem with drool and you don't want to get your shoes dirty, get a bucket, like get a little trough hanging from your head, but wear a mask to protect me from you. I mean,
exactly.
How obnoxious and how arrogant, that's the right word. How arrogant, I don't know. Like I said, I want a referee shirt and just start charging money. Okay, round 2.
Well, Dr. Bill Miller, are we going to be at home a year from now? Is this just the new normal? Because people.
I don't think so. I really don't think so. I mean, I'm hopeful that, like the flu vaccine, I'm hopeful if you'll take a look at the numbers, and I'm not want to get into politics about it. I'm just looking at raw numbers. If you look at the numbers, the people that are succumbing, most of them, the overwhelming majority, are elderly, nursing home patients, people with pre-existing conditions, especially pulmonary problems. There are a bunch of normal people. I'm not downplaying it. There are a bunch of normal people, even children, that have, died from this horrible disease. But if you look at the actual numbers, if we can get a vaccine to those most at risk, much like our flu, every year our flu kills 40,000 people. I mean, people don't know anything about that. I mean, that's just how it is, because you get elderly, they're infirm, they're in nursing home, they're in assisted livings, they're 80, 90 years old, they can't withstand a big hit, if you will.
Right.
Whereas a guy 30 years old, is in good shape, doesn't smoke, has no hypertension, diabetes, you can take a pretty good whack and still come out on the other side. I mean, that's how we talk. But,
Yeah.
I mean,
Of course.
all these infections are a big insult, to the body. So I think if they get the vaccine and they start focusing on who to give it to, then I think the rest of us is going to start opening up. And I think, until they do that, if people would be smart and wear masks when they're in public, simple, it would help get control of this thing.
Right on. All right. So we can wear our masks and go out in public and see you Friday, Saturday, Sunday night at Zanies.
Yeah,
Two
please.
shows nightly. Very funny guy, a very medical guy. He's both. He's Dr. Bill Miller. Thanks for doing this.
Oh, my pleasure. Thank you for having me. And I look forward to watching you some more.